Hello, good evening. Today I would like to give a lecture input on a visit that I did to Singapore, visiting the Toa Payoh, the Housing Development Board's showroom flats examples. And I'll get right to it now. So the case study that I did um, is let me start from the beginning. The case studies that I'm doing now is that I'm going to explain is two types of flats. One is the 45 square meters and one is 36 square meters. This presentation and input, for the record, I presented it to Suntrack Development Sdn Bhd as an advisor and consultant for them for the architects as well to consider the lifetime homes design that they were doing for new design housing development. This is the bigger one, the 45 square meter one. And this bathroom on the left is shared by two spaces. One is the bedroom and the other is not a bedroom. And you can see the folding door that give you more space inside. When you enter a wheelchair, you can actually have more space for the turning radius. And you can see there's ample space between the edge of the WC to the wall where you have the shower head. This folding door shows that there is a place to place a finger in the middle, as well as a lever type door handle. At first I thought it was kind of fussy and difficult to close, but eventually I warmed up to it after I tried it a few times. When I visit the 45 square meter flat, where I tried to see whether the gantry or the space in the middle is good enough. Although I can't wash dishes as much as I could, but I think I can reach the I can open some cabinets, but there is still some limited ability in a wheelchair because there's no knee space and the height is kind of high. It's not to my waist, but they had to make some decisions here because of the compact nature of this flat. And if you look at how I am, the longer side of my configuration, I mean, I'm 1.1 by 670 wide and 1.1 long. So that space is probably 1.2 meters. And 1.2 gives that, for someone. And if I'm longer, I can't really maneuver myself around. But there is something about a gantry like that you can turn around very efficiently. This is much better than what I have in my house in a way, but there are limitations here, obviously. Why Singapore HDB decided to do showroom flats is to give example of accessible features, such as at the threshold of coming into the flat in the main entrance, where you can have that door jamb inside is for the door leaf, and the one outside is for the grill. And in between this in this space, you can have your 1.8 gradient ramp because the height is about 25 millimeters. Correct me if I'm wrong, whoever that know correctly what it is, but it is about that. And it was something that convinced Suntrack Development that they could adopt this because um, um, they felt strongly that in terms of the customers do want a difference in height from the outside to the inside. They don't want it to be, um, no change of levels. So this is a compromise in a way, and it is a good example for the developer. This happens a lot everywhere, going to the bathroom, and because of the folding door, it's possible. I mean, because of the height of 25 millimeters and a root ramp, that you just need to push a bit onto the next level. Not too much. It is doable for many people, not necessarily for everyone. It's like a give and take thing culturally, because other customers do not want it. So, how are you going to compromise yet make it universal design? So, yeah, let's see. Now we come to this 36 square meter or granny flat, they call it, with a kitchen. And they call it a 2-room flexi because you consider the living and dining room as a room. But there is like a sliding door between the living dining area and the bedroom. Hence, this is still a 2-room flexi. They don't call it 2 bedrooms or anything, but just 2-room flexi. Then they have the bath, which is near to the door. And this is 36 square meters, imagine that. And it's integrated into the housing estate, and older persons can have this flat. Short lease, 2-room flexi flat. I mean, the HDB development, the management board could lease this as well in a short lease. And that will probably benefit everybody. In the kitchen, you can take out those cabinets they are portable, and you can take them out from under the counter, and you can do stuff. You can wash the dishes or cook, and it's different from the 46 square meter one. How's it 45? I forgot to know. And yeah, it is high. The plates for some of those places to put stuff in, but there's more room for maneuver here, obviously, coupled with the washing machine. Yeah, you can see that 2-room flexi with the living room and the bedroom at the back. Now, if you put a sofa there and you use a wheelchair, you need to get to the other side. There should be some room there to get to the bed. You may need only a single bed, but they put in a double bed to see how big it is. So this is the bathroom that's near the main entrance. And you can see the shower head with the floor trap right under there. We'll go nearer later. You can see it at the main entrance there. There are several vertical grab bars. Obviously, it's a granny flat, so the stability for a person holding on to this grab bar, and they do it vertically because people are of varying heights, so they can grip on it. Or you're from sitting position to going standing position. That's the usual reason for a vertical grab bar. You can actually do a horizontal grab bar, but if somebody is tall, then you need to have a certain height, and somebody is short. So I think they decided on the vertical red bar because of that. And the height of the switches seems to be fair, to be that height of maybe 4 feet or 1.2 or to 1.4 meters high. As you enter, you can see there's horizontal drag bar and the folding doors. You can see the folding doors closing and giving more space. And if you have the folding door, allow not to have a swing to the corridor and blocking people. The folding door, when usually people like to have a swing inside, but then there will be not. If you go inside and it is a full door, full leaf door, about 900 millimeters, you can't close it because you're stuck there and you can't close it. So hence the folding door. And the folding door has to be acceptable to, you know, the user in terms of using it. So it being outside, I mean, this flat is like a studio flat, and you know, it being outside, so in terms of privacy, maybe the locking mechanism is required as well if somebody lives with you. And there's some, what do you call it, sink over the toilet there, I mean the cistern, which can be used for flushing, some sort of reusing the water, I assume. And that's it, that's the design of it. The sink next to the shower doesn't have a knee space, but there is a horizontal and vertical bar that assists you, that you have to have a chair there to bathe. The shower installed, the shower mechanism is, or rail is installed quite high up. And of course you could have it lower down if you want with the tap. So when you think about a granny flat, it's just somebody slowly became frail. They're not necessarily using a wheelchair. So, you know, it's just how the flat can be designed to accommodate that situation when it occurred. I'm just showing a Malaysian standard in terms of, in a public building, not necessarily housing, Malaysian standard, that 1.4 meters from the tip of the WC to the sink is important. You know, when you saw me in the galley, yeah, the kitchen galley, the gantry, you can see that you need that space in order for you to do a front transfer or a side transfer and a diagonal transfer. And the doors swing outwards in a public area, but in a compact space, that's the precious thing, and then you can include the folding door. So this is another diagram, which is from the Malaysian standard, that shows 1.5, in fact, the space between you and the sink. So there's some other critical dimensions that are helpful for you to think about, you know, to have comfortable usage of toilet facilities and equipment. Foldable grab rail on the wall, independent water supply, wash basin, floor trap. And on the right is a diagram that, you know, usually is shown. I would like not more than 200 millimeters of the top of the adjustable grab bar in relation to toilet seat, but there is no indication of that height in here. And they give you a chance to change from 400 to 480 millimeters. But the main point is, for a public toilet, a lot of people prefer, depending on the user, they prefer higher toilet seat, but for some people they prefer a low toilet seat, depending on their preferences. So this is subjected to the designer what it should be. Yeah, again, I show you the grip in the middle of the folding door of the HDB flat, um, and how you could put a coin to open the door just in case somebody falls down in there and needs to be rescued. These are extra notes that I put in to consider further about design of this. I'm showing on the right another specification from another standard. We got to if there's a shower situation on the right. This particular drawing that is based on other standards. Obviously, we have 900 opening rather than 850 here. I'm trying to convince someone to adopt this. And there should be a shower rail so that water don't splash to WC. But we were limited to 1.9 by 2.4 space. So for a hotel accommodation, for example, we proposed this diagram to the contractor. And this was something that is more complicated when you have the shower and the toilet, obviously. In Singapore, they always have the grab bar from the back in the standard, and they often have the vertical grab bar at the end of it. For me, I don't know the reason for that grab bar, but usually for a vertical grab bar, somebody is coming from a position of sitting, slowly standing up and then grabbing it in sitting position. Usually, if you're in a wheelchair, you don't need the vertical grab bar unless you're trying to raise yourself upwards. So this is an example of the Singapore toilet, and this is another diagram to show what are the heights. The height of the sink should be about 750, and 780 is to me more acceptable than 850, which is a bit higher. It's up to the designer. If this standard is being given to them, they can interpret it how they like. Actually, this indicate that for me that we need to actually find out what is an acceptable one for the Malaysian context. Yeah, that drawing that we showed earlier was based on a sketch of a problem that had arisen from consultancy that we did on a resort, and based on the space that was given. I never actually had a chance to go back there somewhere in Pahang to see how they actually executed, but I will show you a picture that somebody who visited it, and it's more of a sketch that we went through. And this is the picture of how they, at the end of the day, decided to be like. So you can see the lackingness of this in the sense that the contractor did try to do a little step ramp and ease of going in and out, and it is kind of fairly big space. I don't know about the floor surface, whether that's slippery, and they seem to be far from each other, far enough, and the shower next to the WC, the floor trap next to the shower head rather than the WC, and if I would like to use it and find out whether this works. And that's the end of the session on the HDB showroom flats of two types, and in practice what we tried to do with a hotel shower room in regard to fitting in shower plus a WC and a bathroom, a shower in just a domestic situation. In a domestic situation, rather than in a public building, you need to consider the shower, and that complicates the matter. So and all consideration, all design criteria should be done to consider floor surface, the specification exactly, and the grad ball where it should be, and so on. And if you have control of the project, we didn't have control of the project in terms of construction, but we just gave advice to the contractor in the last project that you saw just now. So, you know, these are our limitations, and we learn from our experience, and we will move forward and try to design better from more feedback from people. And well, good luck, you know, in trying to design accessible shower cum toilet facility, houses. But all in all, most of the spaces we have tackled in terms of the bedroom, the living room just now, kitchen, but of course, there's much to be learned, and most of it better from case studies, which has already been built. There are also issues of access to the first floor if you have a ground floor, and we could share with you those experiences that we have in the future. So till then, thank you for listening in, and see you in another YouTube video.